as I watched him wither and die with the blood streaming from his mouth for 20 minutes as he called for his mother. This was my first introduction to serious death and violence. My name's Stephen Gillen. I had an unfortunate long history in organised crime and groomed towards it. I ended up with a 17-year sentence as a Category A prisoner in high security prisons. Before I went to prison, I was associated with some of the most powerful organised crime groups in the country. Being groomed into crime is a very subtle thing, because the older ones, to us, was a lot more experienced, a lot more advanced. They would call it sending you out there, as we used to do when we was their age, and we climbed up these higher levels. But as a younger kid, you're caught with the glamour, you're caught with belonging to something, belonging to a family, belonging to someone who supposedly has your back. There's a lot of excitement. You're groomed to buy into the life that a life of crime is smart and everyone outside a life of crime is dumb. Straight goers are dumb. To be straight is stupid. So the beginning of the grooming is like this, and it's done in a very subtle way. I suppose my first introduction to organised crime, to impactive violence, was in Ireland as a child. I grew up in Belfast there until age 9, and at age 7 I got caught in a riot one day. There was heavy fire from the flats between the IRA and the army. Everyone ran for their lives. Suddenly I see a balaclavaed figure come out with an assault rifle. Fire, heavy fire was traded. Suddenly I see him take 2 shots to the chest and be lifted completely off his feet, withering in front of me. I was stuck there with him, as I watched him wither and die with the blood streaming from his mouth for 20 minutes as he called for his mother. This was the start of it really for me. They kind of bring you in, they give you gifts, they tell you how good you are, how great you're going to be, how much money you're going to make. It's going to change everything for you. You're going to be somebody. You're going to have respect. You're going to be like us one day. You're going to control this thing. So I suddenly realized I had to be more to fit in, and I would be crazier than everyone else, and I would do things that even the crazy people wouldn't do. This soon brought me to the attention of the older faces who knew that someone like that could be really exploited. My story was I had a lot of trauma from my past. I went through a series of children's homes, foster homes. I was forming that chip on my shoulder that I knew best, and there was nothing that was going to dissuade me from the destructive path that I had chosen. Good people did try. I wish I had listened to them. I first went to prison, which was detention centre then, 10 days after my 14th birthday. I was arrested for my first serious offence, which was wounding with intent, Section 18, where I was in a street battle with people and someone got stabbed. I stabbed someone a couple of times, and I went to youth custody. But at that time, even around the ages of 16, this was the first time that I had firearms around me, that I see firearms, that I had access to firearms. The sad truth is that when people are exposed to prison, that they learn more criminality to a much higher level than what they may have known before. On my journey through prison and high security prison as a category A, I knew all the major faces of the day. You know, I'm talking about the Brinks Mac guys, I'm talking about, you know, all the notorious murderers or cartel members or terrorists, people like Charles Bronson. And through this many times, I have seen many firms, many gangs, many big deals, many horrendous things happen because of the associations and the further criminal education that went on by people being exposed to going to prison. I still carry a lot of the trauma, a lot of the darkness, a lot of the memories of things that have happened in the past. You know, there was a lot of different gangs who we had fell out with then. Some of these was in London, some of these were around the country. It was who caught who first. One story I can give is about a club I went to called The Way in Kingsland Road in East London back in the day. And I can remember that night, someone bumped into me, it was very busy, and they spilt a drink on me. For that reason, I was, you know, kind of vexed a bit at that, but for that reason I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go, and I left. I found out after, by the doorman who knew me very well, that half an hour after I left, 3 balaclavaed people who was looking for me pushed into the club, and they was there to shoot me. So I missed them by half an hour. The gangs of today are very different to how they was. They're the same, but the crimes are different. The emergence of drugs changed the whole organised crime scene. So grooming now, I've seen some terrible things where children at 13 younger are groomed, they are targeted on the way up by the older faces, the more serious criminals. They know exactly what they're doing. You know, there are a lot of stories of these gangs giving kids drugs or something to hold and then going back to leverage them to say, hey, where's my stuff? Now you owe me so-and-so. Now you owe me 10 grand. Now you owe me 50 grand. You know, of course, these kids, they don't have that money. And they know that because they've set this up. So they say, okay, no worries, we can do something here. We're gonna make a deal. You're gonna work for me, right? We can sort this out, we're gonna sort it out. You're gonna work for me, you know, you're gonna be all right. You're even gonna make some money, right? Because these kids, they have to say yes. They have no choice. Are there any winners in a life of organised crime? Of course there's not. You know, I've said it many times, there are only 3 endings: insanity, prison, or death. The truth is about the life, and I think this is for most people, if they're really honest, when they really find out that there are no rainbows at the end of a life of crime, certainly a life of serious, organised crime, is that the ties and the rules and the associations keep you bound to the life. For many, well after a time where they should have left it. Many pay with their lives, or they go to prison for the rest of their life. Of course, you can change your life as I did and transform your life. The truth is, I always played by the rules of that life when I was in it. I paid my dues threefold, and when I went to prison again and I lost absolutely everything, I barely escaped with my humanity and my sanity, but I was beholden to no one. And that was the time for me to completely change my life, which I did. Before that, as much as I had wanted to and saw through the life, I did not have the strength, I did not have the opportunity, I did not have the circumstances, I did not have the help or the timing to leave the binds, associations and rules of that destructive life.